Hi, it's Hans at ahappierman.com. Today's topic is write for confidence. Well, when you write, you're writing out your ideal outcome, okay? And if you want to be confident going into like a stressful situation, before you go into the stressful situation, you write out what the ideal outcome of that situation is. Like I've been kind of doing this for, I don't know, the last 7 years or so at my engineering career, meaning excuse me a second, but as I'm whenever I have to give a talk in front of people, nowadays we do it on Zoom, but I've given lots of talks in public, and I used to get really nervous about this, but what I would do, so I wouldn't be nervous, which was what I'm suggesting, is that I wrote out the ideal outcome before. So in the days leading up to that public speech, and especially, let's say, the morning of or right before, within an hour or so, I'd write out something along the lines of, my presentation goes fantastically well, I'm poised and polished, and people love the material I give them, and everything goes very, very smoothly. Something about that, because that's, when you write it out, that will help you. Well, for one thing, it passes a little bit of the time, right? Because when you're preparing for a speech or something like that, I find it's not really of much use to be doing all kinds of other things, trying to be super productive in the hour or two before your speech. I think that's kind of a waste of your time. I would just use that time to continue to psych yourself up. Maybe do something extremely light, extremely easy, no heavy duty thinking and planning. Focus on that event, and that's part of it is focusing on it and making sure you know what you want to say, and you're as rehearsed as you can be, and all of that. But the write out what you want the outcome to be. That really helps, and that helps on every stressful situation. I would do this when I was getting divorced. Every time I would go to court, I would just be nervous as all heck. That was way before my ahappierman.com days. So I was just learning this stuff at that time. I screwed up enough courage to leave my wife, as I explained, and leave your wife and become a happier man, the 3-step system available on the ahappierman.com website. But after I left her, and then you start going to court, and that's a whole nother stressful situation that you don't know what the court is going to do. So I would be writing out in the morning. I'd be sitting in my car before I'm going to go into the courtroom and meet my attorney and deal with whatever has to be dealt with, and write out what I was wanting to happen that day. That everything goes well, everything goes smoothly, the court goes in my favor, no problems, no issues. Whatever you want to happen, you write it out. You write it out, and you write it out in enough detail that it will, if it would happen that way, you would be very, very pleased to walk out of the courtroom or walk off the stage or whatever. It's stressful, and you'll be happy with the outcome. Okay, and do not write it in a negative way of, you write it in a positive frame. Okay, write out your positive outcomes. This works for everything, actually. It's most dramatic, and it's helpful for really stressful situations like going to court, giving speeches, going to job interviews. That's another good one. So those are big events, you know. And if you practice this on your big events, yeah, you'll find that your nervousness goes away, your smoothness while you're doing the event is increased, and you know, this won't make you like a perfect public speaker if you don't practice and if you not doing your homework. But if you're doing your homework, if you're practiced, if you know what your material for public speaking, if you know going to court that you're in the right and there's no reason for it to go wrong for you, then writing it out. And the other thing, if you're going to a job interview and you know that you're a very good candidate, there's no reason for you to think negative, right? You would be thinking positive, and you further reinforce the positivity by writing out the outcome. On the converse, you'll probably find if you don't do this, you won't have as good an outcome. You certainly will be much more nervous going into the situation. So give that idea some serious thought. Write your ideal outcome for the stressful situation, or any stressful situation, and you'll find your life will much better. All for now.